Here I've got Civilization 4 for the PowerPC Macintosh. This game's actually PowerPC and Intel based, so either one. Minimum system requirements. These are the minimum requirements: is 1039, PowerPC G5 or Intel, 1.8 gigahertz, 512 RAM, 64 megabyte video card. Recommended system requirements: G5 Intel, 2 gigahertz or faster, 1046 or later, 1 gig of RAM, and 128 megabytes of VRAM. Open it up here, and let's see here, they give you, looks like a skill tree map. Yeah, it's like a big skill tree map, kind of similar to what we saw in Age of Empires, and pretty good sized quick start manual. So I imagine, yeah, this would be very helpful, because this game's kind of in depth. I don't know everything about it by far. I've played quite a bit, but yeah, you don't have to know that much to play, but I'm sure the more you know, the better. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Rated E for everyone, so it's kind of interesting being a battle game like it is. I guess, you know, it's a turn-based game, so kind of makes sense. It's not like real violent. It actually does say violence on there. Not sure if you can see that. E for everyone, and it says 10 plus violence. But yeah, it's still not a very violent game. Definitely not going to play a full game, because that would be like probably a 4 or 5 hour long video, depending on how I played it. So they've actually have in the options on this game, you have a built-in clock that displays the actual time of the day for you, not the game, but for you in this game, so that you don't lose track of time. Or so if you want to keep an eye on the time as you're playing, it's just right there. All you gotta do is glance at it, because this is just one of those games where take one game could be like 10 to 12 hours if you played it in a certain way, like on a low speed, basically, with a lot of turns. You know, you can easily have like an 8-hour game. Adjust this camera here a little. Let this play a little bit. You can see the intro here. intro. Alright, I'm gonna skip through this now. I'm not sure how long it is, but alright, let's see what the graphics are at. 1920 by 1080, anti-aliasing 2, and everything's at high. Basically everything at high. Could go up to 4x anti-aliasing, but it's not really worth it. Gives you a bunch of map options here. Pangea. Just one big continent. I think I'm just gonna do the Great Plains for now. Some rivers and stuff, but no ocean. And map size. Obviously smaller map size is gonna run a little bit quicker. Let's do like a dual size. I'm gonna go with American Empire, maybe Washington. Kind of my gaming name there. Alright. And what level of difficulty it's got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 different levels of difficulty. So, I don't think I've ever gone above maybe Noble or Prince. I think I usually stick with Chieftain or Warlord. It goes all the way up to Deity. Game speed, quick, normal, epic, and marathon. So yeah, like a marathon. Marathon's gonna be like, I don't even know how long that game would last. It would be a long time. Like half a day probably. At least, like, probably looking at like 12 hours. So I'm just going to do Chieftain for now, and game speed, I'm going to also go with quick. Yeah, this game is just packed full of options, highly customizable. Alright, so it's 4000 BC. And here we've got some warriors, and then I've got some settlers over here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and settle right where they're at. This is a turn-based game, so you know you get one turn to make a bunch of moves, and then the other side has a turn. I'm gonna do a worker. It said worker 10, so that means it's gonna take 10 turns to produce a worker. And with the barbarians, or my warriors, I'm gonna do a little bit of exploring just to get an idea of what kind of resources I have around me. But then I need to get them back to that starting position, because if it's left undefended, then that's game over. If the other team came over and jumped in there, that's game over, because it's my only town. So looks like we've got some trapping here, some fields here, corn, that's corn. We got some spices over here, some deer. What's this? Marble. So I can build a quarry over here. And this here, that's like a undiscovered tribe. So actually, I'm gonna want to take. Yeah, I wanted to take my warriors over there, but he got to it first. And that's the other guy. So you don't necessarily have to fight in this game. You can actually you can like trade and stuff. And it's just me and one other guy, but if there's a multiple, you know, sorry, if there's multiple teams in the map, then you know you might be friendly with some and not so friendly with others. And
if you chase two rabbits, you will lose them both.
so a scout can move faster than my warriors, and I need my warriors to defend my town, so I'm going to go ahead and create a scout. And these are the workers that I just created, and I can move them over here, and I can have them build a farm. So they're going to build a farm, and I forgot to see how many turns that is going to take, but it's probably like 2 or 3 turns. And I'm going to have the warriors just kind of post up there and defend my town.
It is from their foes, not their friends, that cities learn the lesson of building by walls.
Yeah, playing on quick like this, the game probably only lasts maybe like, I don't know, an hour. So if you don't have very much time, this is the way to go. So I had him build a farm, and then I built a road to that farm, and roads allow you to, like, instead of 2 turns to get from here to here, so that's 1 turn, this is 2 turns per tile. With a road, it would take maybe 1 turn to get here instead of 2. So that's why roads are good. But yeah, you can zoom all the way out like that. Zoom all the way in. It's actually yeah, pretty cool game. I like it. I don't play it too much anymore. See, scouts, he just did that 2 tiles in 1 turn because they're scouts. It's kind of what they do. You can explore a lot faster with a scout than with a normal unit. But yeah, I don't play this game as much as I used to, but I've definitely sank quite a bit of time into this. I'm not an expert by any means. Like, there's a lot I don't know about this game. But like going through these forests here, that'll slow down your units, and even going over hills will slow them down, or crossing rivers slows them down a little bit. I think if you get on top of a hill like that, it actually gives you a little bit more of a view, it's revealing more tiles being on this little mound than if I was just on the flat ground. So I'm gonna build a quarry over there, so I can, and then that all leads to stuff. So, like spices is good for trade, obviously. Quarry. Once I have a quarry built here, I'll be able to. It'll open up. Basically, just the game keeps expanding. It keeps opening up options for you based on the resources that you acquire. So those are some gemstones up here. Let's see. Can I tell they look good? Yeah. Those are gemstones. And I think that's, kind of just like gold maybe. Okay, now, these are barbarian lions, so they'll actually attack my scouts here if I don't backtrack a little bit. So I could lose my scouts there, so I'd either have to make more or do without. But everything takes a certain amount of turns. I gotta set more settlers here, so I can create another city.
It is entirely seemly, a young man killed in battle, lie mangled by the bronze spear. In his death, all things appear fair.
So I'm gonna go ahead and establish them right here on that river, and that's good for later on being on this river. I think it's good for trade. More lions. Hopefully they don't get me next turn. Let's see what happens. Nope, they went off. So there's that quarry. Built that quarry there, and I'm gonna put a road down. So I'm on turn. I'm on turn. Let's see. It's actually, I don't think it's showing me what turn I'm on. Usually it does. It is not actually telling me what turn I'm on, but it's 2440 BC, so so just since I started this game, about 1600 years have passed. So yeah, it's a quick game. If you play on like the longest setting, I mean, it would probably only have been a couple, maybe 100 or so years, or a couple hundred years. So, but yeah, it goes fast at first. So 1600 years have passed, but like the further into the game you get, like say by the year 1500 AD, it would be each turn only, like less time would pass between turns, because right now a lot of time is passing in between each turn that I take. You see we got some mountains here, and yeah, you can be like really strategic with it. Like if you were to place a city over here, you might want to do that because there's a river running through here, and that's harder for troops to cross. Like it takes more turns, and also you can't go through these mountaintops. Like you can't go over the top of them. It's essentially a wall that you don't have to build. It's an impenetrable wall. So you would know, like maybe you would only have to station units like right here and like right here if they were coming from this direction. So yeah, just like little cool things like that to take into consideration. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get this village over here. It's a tribal village. I'm gonna see if I can't make contact with them. because they usually give you either like a new technology or gold. And I think sometimes they're hostile,
Lord
but
bless you.
not very often.
The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give
So
you
it says
peace.
the villagers give you gold. You have received 72 gold. So I received 72 gold by discovering. So I don't have, we don't, this is the other player here, and these are his borders. Mine are blue and his is kind of this goldish color. We don't have open borders right now. So if I try to move through here, it says you're entering his land and it will trigger war. And it says, are you sure? And you can declare, so I can declare war right now, or I can say no, reconsider, because we don't have open borders. Like later on in the game, we would probably establish some sort of open borders with people, with each other, so that I could pass through his town and use his roads and everything if I wanted. But right now, it's either go around or declare war. So, but yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that's basically the gist of it. It's a really in-depth game. That manual would help out a lot. Like I've never actually read through it, but I probably should, because it's been a year or two since I've actually played Civilization 4. I've played 5 more recently, and then I know they're up to Civilization 6 already, but I don't really like 6 that much. I like 4 and 5. Because 5 is like 4, only with better graphics. In my opinion, 5 is a lot like this one with updated graphics. And 6 just kind of looks, I don't know, I don't really like the graphical style of it. It probably grow on me, but I pretty much just play 5 and 4. But I've played 4 the most. I've played this one more than any of the other ones. And yeah, it's a good game for sure. Like, I mean, really the only good thing about the new ones is graphics, in my opinion. I mean, I think they add a little bit more game mechanics, but this one here, I mean, it's already so in depth. Like I've told you, I don't even know everything about it. Like I'd have to spend a lot more time playing it. So it's definitely worth playing if you like these types of games. But well, that's it for now. I'm not gonna finish this game out, but I just kind of wanted to give a little overview of it. And, real quick though. Say I wanted to have knights or horse archers, I couldn't get those. See, there's horses over here, but they're just wild horses. I'd have to go and put up like a stable and establish a stable over here before I could train, and then it would open up horse archers and knights and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just something to take into consideration. If that was something I was going for like right away, then that would be, there's a lot of little routes and paths that you can take, and if you try to take all of them simultaneously, it's gonna take a long time. But like, you can kind of like speed run your way through certain paths. But you know, it's a give and take and a lot of trade-offs depending on what route you take. And so yeah, very in-depth, kind of I don't want to say complicated, but very in-depth game. Lots of ins and outs. Yeah, well, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one.